So let's get into it. The pros and cons, updated pros and cons of living in Orange County, California. Now we're gonna be real, that's something we pride ourselves on in the channel, even though we get a lot of hate mail for it. A lot of locals get really mad at us if we talk about
any cons.
any cons of living in Orange County. But let's get into the pros and cons. So let's start with a pro. Let's try to minimize the hate mail. But I mean, look at this, beautiful weather. I mean, we're not gonna tell you what day of the year it is because it could literally be any day of the year. December, it could be December 25th, it could be July 4th. Like, it's always nice in Orange County. That is the biggest pro of Southern California.
It is. I mean, it honestly is. I mean, you know why you're watching the county channel. I mean, Orange County, like, there's 99 problems, but weather ain't one of them.
Yes.
And honestly, it is, again, the best of the best weather in the world. Like, we actually have done videos where we've compared Orange County's relative value to different places around the world, you know, and again, I'll toe to toe with any place. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times Sean will say, oh, you know, I'm working with a new client, somebody called me from YouTube, and I'm like, oh, why are they moving? Why do you think? It's
the
really
weather.
Nice. Yeah. That or employment. Like, you know,
that's true. That's true.
I'd say those are the two main reasons. They're like, it's always been a dream of, you know, people to move out here because of the impeccable weather, but also there's really good job opportunities. I guess that's pro number two.
So let's talk about the economy. So Orange County has a great economy. It is one of the main reasons, other than weather, that people move here because they have a job here. So I'm originally from San Diego, and I can't tell you, so Sean and I have been together for a really long time. Can't tell you how many times I tried.
So long.
I tried to move back to San Diego, and then somehow I would get pulled back because of the economy, and I would try to get him to move, and we actually did live in San Diego for a couple years, but he was always sucking us back because of the economy.
Yeah, I mean, you just have such a diverse economy. Again, I think it helps that location-wise, let's say compared to San Diego for that matter, San Diego has actually got a pretty good economy, but it's on an island of its own, right? I mean, so it's so far south that, again, it's got a population comparable to Orange County itself, but what Orange County has going for it is, one, it's more centrally located in Southern California, and second, it's attached to the LA media market. So you have all that LA stuff going on, which is a huge, huge population. And, you know, basically we kind of tap into that. So a lot of people, as they move out here, they may not need to go to LA every day, but they want to be in relatively close proximity because inevitably they may have a job out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dezad.
And I'm Courtney Dezad, and we are licensed real estate agents here in the state of California.
And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love the blue skies. I love that. I can't even tell what time of year it is because it's so beautiful all the time. I can't wait to move it here. Now, the problem is that I'm not local. I may be out of state. I may be even out of the country, so I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you need to reach out to us so we can have that conversation to find out specifically what you're looking for, and we can be your boots on the ground to find that perfect property for you. We can even do interior, you know, like virtual tours of the property itself, as well as the neighborhood, to really give you a good feel of it. So when you do come out here, your time is spent super efficiently. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. And now let's get in some cons. Let's talk about Be Real. I mean, let's talk about price, because, you know, we like to say Orange County has great value for what it is, but if you're talking about just relative price for the rest of the United States, I mean, it is extremely expensive.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like, you know, so the thing is about like Orange County is that, you know, your median price point at the time of this recording is, I don't know, about 1 to 1.1. Honestly, depends on the day, because we're still dealing with a pretty tight inventory environment. There's not a lot of homes on the market, and this is a nationwide phenomenon, not just in Orange County itself. But you get these wild skews as far as what the median price point is of Orange County. But, you know, obviously, whatever it is, you're in the 7 figures, and it's expensive here. I mean, that's just, you know, people are a little bit, I think, sometimes surprised by how much it does cost here. Yeah. But again,
what do you, I mean,
like, what are you getting?
You have limited supply, right? I mean, it's pretty much all the way built out. So there are always going to be people, no matter how crazy California is. Like, let's be real, California is crazy.
What?
People don't like the taxes. Sometimes people don't like the politics. It depends on who you are. Like, I personally, I don't get into politics. Like, I don't care. But like, it's expensive, right? So, I mean, and people are always gonna wanna live here because it's so nice. Like, no matter what's going on, like, there's always gonna be demand. Like, and this means the price is always gonna be high.
No, it is. I mean, obviously, it's just so nice. I mean, also, there's a lot of, I mean, we're gonna get into more factors as to why this place is as desirable as it is, because obviously we know about the weather, we know about the jobs. There are so many other things going for it that, like, you're going, okay, like when you stack the chips, when you have that balance thing, right? Like, you know, when you're balancing like the pros and the cons, you're going, there's so many pros here that you're going, okay, there's just so much demand. I mean, it is like, you know, again, people are
from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's demand from all over the world. That's the thing, is that, you know, Sean gets phone calls from people all over the world because it's well known. Like, it's known as one of the nicest places to live in the world.
And actually, it's kind of funny. Like, some other areas have kind of spread up in price, and you're going, why is that place? Like, you know, for instance, in Las Vegas, even like we've kind of seen some stuff going, those are kind of Orange County prices, and some of these things you're going, I don't know if I would choose that over Orange County. Like, you know, that it's kind of one of those little things that where you kind of get these little discrepancies as far as what's been going on with the prices, again, throughout the country, where you're going, Orange County just offers so much. And again, we'll just kind of get into the next one, right? Like, you know, another reason why people kind of come out here is because of the schools, right? So the schools in Orange County, honestly, no matter where you are in Orange County, you have opportunities to get really good education. Yeah,
and so I will actually, at the end of this video, so stay to the end, I will post another video where we actually talk about that. There's a list that came out, well, relatively recently about pretty much anywhere you live in Orange County, truly any city, like there are options in terms of very highly rated schools, highly rated in terms of the entire United States. So I will post that at the end if you're interested in schools. But yeah, that's one of the things we always like to say is that, you know, maybe the school that you're zoned for isn't that highly ranked, but you have options truly whatever city that you're living in.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, like there's some cities are more strict about your zone than others, but those tend to be the ones actually where those schools are going to be good anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so Irvine's kind of known for being, you know, one, it's got the highest rated school according to niche.com, like school system in the county, and one of the highest in the country, honestly. Like, but the thing is that they're pretty a little bit more rigid about
it's like
transfers.
Wherever you're zoned, that's where you're going.
And chances are it's a national blue ribbon school and all these other things that it has going for it. So it's really not that big of a deal. Whereas a lot of other places, like, you know, for instance, South Orange County, for instance, is known for like the Capistrano Unified School District. It's the largest school district in Orange County, and there's a lot of flexibility there, I would say.
Yeah. So now let's talk about a huge con, and that's traffic. I mean, traffic is terrible. I mean, we do like to say, I mean, I feel like we're being, you know, giving all these caveats as to why Orange County is better, but I do actually think Orange County has better traffic than the surrounding areas like Los Angeles, you know, the Inland Empire and San Diego, but it's still bad. I mean, let's be real. It's like any large urban area in the United States. Like, it's gonna be horrible. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I would say that, like you said, we're graded on a curve here, right? I mean, obviously, in an absolute basis, we probably get a C or a D.
I would say F. On an absolute basis.
Absolute? I mean, for the whole country?
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of...
It's terrible. Like, I hate it. I get more pissed about it than he does, but he's more patient than I am.
You get TO'd?
He's more patient than I am.
Okay, so basically, what we do have, though, is that we have a lot of, one, for as small of a landmass as Orange County is, a lot of freeway options.
That's
so
true.
that's one, right? Again, I don't want to list them all, but there's a lot of them. And second, what we have also going is that we have really wide, like, major thoroughfares. Like, there's a ton of them. Like, you know, so what's nice is that there are alternate routes. Like, you know, I've gone to LA, and like, I mean, the traffic is crazy. Honestly, it's insane.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, you know, and there's really no alternate route, because the alternate routes are all backed up too, because Orange County's kind of built in that nice little sweet spot where, like, it was more thought out. It's not as organic from that perspective, where, like, you know, we weren't built with a horse and buggy, right? We were built for cars in mind, by and large, for the entire county. I mean,
and
like,
then, sorry to interrupt you, but then we were also built knowing that a lot of people would move here. This is like, you know, when LA was built, nobody knew that it was going to become this giant population center of 10 million people. Like, Orange County, that people were like, oh, okay, when people are moving here now, like, let's plan for that. Yeah,
exactly. So Orange County, like, so you have, like, these roads have widened over, and especially as you go on farther south, it was even more master planned, where you have, again, to find 8-10 lane, like, streets is not uncommon. So what's nice is that you do have these ways to get you in and out of, like, again, in LA, driving through there, you have these streets that are like, have these little kinks to them, and it's just, they're like really narrow, and there's just no really alternate route. You're kind of just stuck, right? And here, I can't tell you how many times we've avoided freeways altogether by taking alternate routes that are very effective. They do a good, nice job. So there's ways to kind of work around it, as opposed to, again, San Diego, horrific, horrifically bad. LA, horrifically bad. Inland Empire, horrifically bad. So again, our surrounding brothers just have it way worse than we do. So it doesn't seem as bad, but again, we won't lie, it's not good.
Yeah. And just a little side note, comment down below if you know where we are. Like, this is one of my favorite spots. You may be wondering, like, why aren't you doing this at the beach? Randomly, I'm not a beach person, so.
I thought we all had surfboards and are, like, born with it. Like...
No?
No? All right.
Yeah, no. I love the weather, but I'm not personally a beach person, which is kind of weird.
I used to be more of a beach person. Courtney stole that from me. There's a hole in my heart. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Well, okay, so let's talk about another con, and I'd say this is a con of any large metropolitan area, and that's people, you know, they stick to themselves. They're not that friendly. Like, you're not going to be talking to people. They're not that neighborly. You're not going to be talking to people in the grocery stores, generally speaking. Like, I would say that's true any big area. Yeah,
you don't have that sense of community. There are certain cities. Again, we have, you know, chronicled those particular cities that give you more of that, like, community vibe. Yeah. So there are some of them. But as by and large, like, what's nice about Orange County is that, yeah, you're not going to be bumping into a lot of people where they may share all your common interests. But because there's so many people in the county, that you can never really find, like, clubs and all that stuff where they share your hobbies.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now let's talk about crime and safety. Now, we're not going to say it's like a pro or a con because everyone's idea of crime and safety is different, but we will say that if you go on, you know, many of the sites, depending on where you are, you're going to have very good numbers, and meaning that, you know, the numbers that they have are better than the national average, like, depending on where you are in Orange County.
Yeah, and Irvine's been rated, like, safest city in the country of a population of 250,000 or more for 18 years straight. And the thing is that there's actually a lot of cities that actually technically probably have better statistics than Irvine. There's not have the population size of Irvine. And so again, and we always say this, like, it's always a very subjective thing when it's, like, safe. Like, you know, people have asked me, well, okay, I want to move to a place that's safe, or I want, you know, is this neighborhood safe? I can't answer that question because I don't have your same threshold of what's safe and what's not safe. So that's where I always recommend, okay, if we kind of zero in on a neighborhood that you seem to like all the other attributes, you know, you really like a house, for instance, I say, okay, you know, drive by that neighborhood, like, you know, different times of the day and even in the evening, kind of get a feel of how that's feeling for you. And then, of course, look up all the other data that you want to do, because it's all out there. And then so look up all that other data to see if that kind of jives with what makes sense for you. Because really, I mean, I don't want to have that responsibility telling you this is safe and this is not safe. And then you go, Sean, I don't feel like you know, like this is safe for me.
Yeah, because everyone's perspective is different. I mean, even like, you know, people in our own family, like, they'll say, oh, I don't think that's safe. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I would never think that wasn't safe. But so everyone's different, right?
Yeah, and case in point, like, for instance, in Irvine, which again is very highly rated, I've never really not felt safe there myself, right? But some people still want a gated community in Irvine. In fact, Shady Canyon is a gated community within a gated, like, there's actually multiple gates to get to your home. Some people just want that level layer. So again, if they were to ask me, I'd just go, like, any neighborhood in Irvine to me feels, you know, safe. But that's my own subjective situation. That's me, myself.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about another con, and I don't know if this is a con, honestly, it's really subjective. Like, a lot of these things are subjective, and that is, Orange County is suburbia, right? Like, if you're looking for, you know, really good nightlife, you know, city living, like, the greatest restaurants, like, we have great food here, but it's not LA in terms of food, like, it's suburbia, right? So if you don't like suburbia, I don't know what to tell you, like, you're not gonna like Orange County. Like,
oh, I mean, I would say, like, if you're looking at, I would say the coastal cities don't feel suburbia to me.
That's true.
I would say the coastal cities, I mean, definitely South Orange County has a strong degree of suburbia kind of vibe to it.
But even North County, it feels like an LA suburb.
Yeah.
Like, it's suburbia. Except for Sean's right, like, the coastal cities, they feel like the coast, right? They feel like a beach.
Yeah, they feel like a beach city. And then also another con that people may find or not is, like, HOAs, for instance. Yeah. So Orange County, especially South Orange County in particular, it's the land of HOAs. Kind of, so it feels like Irvine really started that trend, at least in the area, and just took off from there. Where the con is that you do have HOA dues, which, you know, again, is an additional cost. But second is that for some people, they don't want that additional layer of oversight. They go, okay, I don't want my neighbors to have, like, so much input on what I can do with my own home. Yeah. And so that's where, you know, depending on what you're looking for, you want to reach out to us, because we can obviously have that conversation of whether an HOA makes sense for you or not. A lot of people really like HOAs because it does keep things pretty neat and tidy and kind of uniform. Other people, they want their own stamp of uniqueness on their home, and they don't want someone else to tell them what to do. So that's a pro or con depending on how you're looking at it. And I guess sort of piggybacking on that is another con is that we don't have that much new construction. Yeah. So Orange County itself, there's a few pockets, like, that have new construction that's happening en masse, but really, as by and large, it's pretty mature. You know, we've been built up since probably about 2000, more or less. To find something that's actually much newer than 2000 is pretty unusual, actually, in Orange County. So if you're looking for brand new construction, there are pockets, but there's just not a lot of them. And again, reach out to us so we can have that conversation, because there are possibilities. It's just that you're not seeing, like some other parts of the country, there's just so much new construction happening. That's just not what's happening in mass here. So another pro and con of Orange County is, one, the property tax rate is actually in general pretty low. It's about 1.1% of the assessed value, and that stays pretty stable because of Proposition 13, which keeps the price, the assessed value, more or less like somewhat close to what you paid for the property in the first place. So for some of these properties that have gone up in value like crazy over the decades, they're paying an insanely low property tax rate. Like, having said that, there is also this phenomenon called mello-roos. So this is for any real new construction that is happening, especially in the last 20 years. Mello-roos is this additional layer of property tax that basically adds, it can vary dramatically. It can be a few $100s. It could honestly be nearly a doubling of the property tax rate depending on where you're buying. And that's to fund new infrastructure, new schools, new roads, police stations, fire stations, all that stuff. So because it's a new area, like one of the new construction areas is Rancho Mission Viejo, and their property tax rate is definitely not low. So you have to factor that into what your expenses are to make sure it makes sense for you. And again, reach out to us. We can have that conversation. We can obviously identify what the mello-roos, whether or not it does have mello-roos, and how much that mello-roos rate is.
So a major pro of Orange County is you get year-round beach living. Of course, you're not probably going to be going in the ocean year-round unless you're a surfer. Surfers do go in the ocean year-round. They actually think that the winter is better for surf. But in terms of if you can go to enjoy the beach, like go walking around the beach, enjoying the beach, having a nice, breakfast, brunch with a beautiful view of the beach, you can do that any time of year. The weather is beautiful 300 days out of the year. 65 days out of the year, it might be a little hot or it might be raining. So it's not perfect, so you're gonna complain, but yeah.
And you do have a few days of humidity, but in general, again, it's that more dry air, which is fantastic. But it's not like crazy dry. Like, there are places where it's like so dry that you're getting like that static electricity shock kind of thing happening. Yeah. So we have just enough moisture in the air because the ocean is here that it keeps things just really, again, it's harkening back to our first point. Like, it just, again, just keeps that weather really nice, very comfortable year round.
So now let's talk about a con of living in Orange County, and that is, natural disasters, just like any place. Like, we do have earthquakes here. Depending on where you are, you have heightened fire danger, and if you are concerned about fire, reach out to us because we can give you the Orange County Fire Authority's map, and that will let you know what are the areas that are more prone to that. So,
mudslides,
but
not really.
I guess depends. There's some areas,
some canyon stuff, and the earthquake thing, obviously, that's just like California as a general whole. It's
like, we grew up everyone telling us that California was going to break off into the ocean in the next 6 months, so I guess we're just used to it. So.
Yeah, and also you'll find that even if you get a 4.0 earthquake, you're okay, you're not even getting out of bed for that. It's just not really a thing that you get used to that. Californians are wimps about weather stuff, but when it comes to earthquake stuff, we're actually I think other people would get more freaked out because we're
I actually think I saw a meme about that. Somebody was like, you're in California, and if you're screaming and running away because it's raining, but if there's an earthquake, you're whatever.
That is California in a nutshell, yes.
Yeah. And then another pro of Orange County, it's a very diverse place. So if you look at the US Census data, I believe the last time I looked, 50% of households in Orange County speak a language other than English at home. So it's very diverse. That's one thing that I really like. I feel like you can meet people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's just it's cool. And I always think it's fun, maybe because I, used to be a writer a long, long time ago. I always think what's somebody's story? Why are they here? And so, it's fun to me to learn about that. And I just really like that.
For sure. And obviously this is just a little, our backdrop right now is just a little snippet of Orange County.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it, of course.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put at the end of this video, I'm gonna give a playlist of a bunch of different tours of a bunch of different cities. We've done tours of so many cities in Orange County, not all of them, but all over, North County, South County, the beaches, East County. So, we're gonna give you a playlist right there. So don't forget to check that out.
And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of California. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is when you give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.